you afford to pay a decent wage? How can you afford to pay a decent pension? If people are retiring earlier, that's a bigger demand on the pension pot. Brothers and sisters, are we not listening? Last year alone, the 1,000 richest people in the UK made an extra £77 million a week. A week. We don't have a problem of poverty in this country. We have a problem of wealth in this country. That we have to face up to if we ever want to improve society. It's a bit like making an omelette without breaking an egg. If we are ever going to improve the standard and the quality of the life of ordinary people in this society, we are going to have to redistribute wealth in this society. We're going to have to tackle the fact that we've got a handful, for instance, in Scotland, of multi-billionaire landowners who own our land, who use it in an unproductive fashion, who keep it underdeveloped deliberately and get grants from the government not to develop the land. Get grants from the government so that they can promote grouse shooting, so that they can promote animal hunting, so that they can promote their lodges. Without people having proper homes, without communities having a proper economy, we allow all of that productive land to stay in a handful of hands for the enrichment of a tiny few. Brothers and sisters, it's the basics there. Some of you might remember the old story I got brought up in the Labour movement when people say about the poacher on the land of the gamekeeper. And when the poacher is told to put down the fish that he's just taken out of the lake that's on the land of the landowner, and the landowner says, "You need to put that back. You've caught that fish on my land." And the wee poacher says, "Well, how's it your land?" And he says, "Because my dad passed on to me." And where did he get it? Oh, he got it from his dad. Where did he get it? He got it from his dad. Where did he get it? Oh, his grandfather fought somebody for him. And the wee poacher takes off his jig and says, "Well, Mum, me and you have a wee fight." You have to understand here. Just because inequality has been passed on through the ages doesn't make it right. We have to tackle inequality. We have to tackle the ownership of land. Land should belong to the people. Land should belong to the people. And the same argument has to be applied in relation to an independent Scotland when it comes to this bogeyman that we get thrown at us all the time about the oil industry. Oh, you put all your eggs in the basket of the oil and gas industry. Look at it now. The oil per barrel has fallen. Look at the thousands of jobs that are going. It's not economical any longer. Your economy would be in debt. Deal with that a wee minute. Let's face up to this point. First and foremost, we in the independence movement have to have an idea, and certainly within Solidarity as a socialist, we have to have an idea, that we do not pay homage to fossil fuels. We believe fossil fuels are endangering our environment. We think we have a moral duty as human beings to invest in clean energy production. We believe we should use our fossil fuel resources in order to invest in clean technology, wind, wave, solar power production. We have to say, however, to this economic argument that we're getting now, oh, we're having to lay off tens of thousands of oil and gas workers to the North Sea because the price of the barrel of oil has fallen by 50%. Brothers and sisters, we've got to stay here. Show us the books. Open the books and let's see who owns the oil and gas industry in Scotland. And what you'll find is this multi-billionaires from Texas that own the oil and gas industry in Scotland. And what they mean by it's not economical is they're not making enough profit. That's what they mean. What we've got to see, I believe, within the independence movement, and we have to maybe have arguments within the independence movement about this, because there are some people I've heard say, oh no, that's not what we should do. I believe fundamentally, when somebody says to me, it's Scotland's oil, that doesn't mean it's Scotland's oil, but we're letting the Texans run it for us. That means it's Scotland's oil, we should own and we should control it. Why on earth would we sit back and witness countries with horrible human rights records like United Arab Emirates, like Saudi Arabia, or socialist countries like Venezuela, or countries with a social conscience like Norway? Why would we sit back and look at these countries and say, oh, isn't it wonderful? Look at all the production, look at all the economic development. What did he do with their oil? They own and control it. They don't allow private companies to come in and run it. We should be doing that with our oil and gas industry. No more licenses should be granted to private companies, and existing licenses should be bought out on the basis of proven need. You know what I say? One of the other arguments that used to attract me in the Labour movement was the whole idea of public ownership. I was sold in the idea that when it comes to the essentials of life, I'm not interested in the fish and chip shop, the local company, the cafe. But see, when it comes to electricity, gas, water, transport, land, brothers and sisters, I've got to say, where is it written that it is morally correct that you go home the night and you turn on your light as soon as you get in the house and you put money in somebody's private pocket? That you go and turn on the gas to make yourself a wee cup of tea and you put money in somebody's private pocket? If you were in England and Wales, you couldn't even go for a pee and flush the pan, but you could put money in somebody's private pocket. Where is it written that that's somehow acceptable in society? That those essentials of life are owned by private profiteers? My vision of an independent Scotland isn't that we just change the flags around the municipal buildings and we start waving salt tires. I want to change the very fabric of Scotland. I want Scotland to own its gas and its electricity and its oil and its land for the people of Scotland. That's the type of independent Scotland I want. I think you have to remember a wee sketch. At the time, he was actually probably one of the most effective opposition politicians, and he wasn't even a politician. Rory Brenner. Some of you might remember Rory Brenner. I always remember his wee sketch. It sums something up for me. Rory Brenner, two mates in the pub. One of the mates is looking off a glove and his pal says, "What's up with you?" He says, "Oh, I'm really down, I'm really down." "Why are you really down?" "I got my motor stole last night." "Oh, that's terrible." "Well, it's worse than that, it's worse than that." "How's it worse than that?" "The guy who stole my motor shacked my door this morning, and he says, do you want to buy it back?" And the mate says, "But that's theft." His pal says, "No, that's privatisation." Think about it. Your parents, grandparents, and their parents and grandparents paid after 1945, paid their taxes, their national insurance, paid for the development of the economy, paid for coal, gas, electricity, transport, telecommunications. They paid, they invested all you want to buy some of your back? I used to make this point in meetings, brothers and sisters. I mean, I despise what she stands for. I refuse to show anything other than joy when she died, because I would have It was a very proud day when I was invited to the Commonwealth Miners' Welfare to join a party the day she died. So I'm not going to be a hypocrite, so the woman died. She was an absolute animal politically, an animal. She was evil personified as far as I was concerned. But you know what? Here's the problem. She actually generated support across England, Wales and parts of Scotland. Very few parts of Scotland. But she generated support because she stood up for her class. Brothers and sisters, is it not about time that we people stand up for her class? And it's from that point of view, I think we have a duty within the independence movement to paint a picture of an independent Scotland that isn't just about changing flags. Flags are important, they're symbols. I don't buy into this idea of flags are important. I've had the great delight of visiting Cuba about half a dozen times, of being in Venezuela, countries that are trying to be socialist, countries that are trying to invest in the people rather than big business. I've got to say to you, they're very patriotic. They actually pride their independence. It's part of the socialism. The patriotism and their independence is part of the socialism. There is nothing wrong with believing that you're Scottish. There's nothing to be hidden as a socialist to say, I'm Scottish and I'm proud to be Scots. Doesn't mean we're better than anybody. Not at all. Doesn't mean we're any worse than a fire. And for people from England, from the left, and I have to say to them, please get a grip of it. For people on the left in England to say, oh, it's chauvinistic, it's nationalistic, to say that you're proud to be Scottish and you support independence, I've got to turn that coin on them. Because what they're really saying is, instead of supporting being Scottish, we should support being British. And I don't support that. I don't support that. I believe those socialists and trade unionists in England have got a lot to be proud of in their English heritage. They've got their tall puddle manners. They've got their match girl strike. They've got some of the founders, the echoes of the movements. They've got some of the best trade unionists and struggles from Grunwick onwards. They've got loads to be proud of. Don't allow the right wing to steal their flag any longer. There is absolutely nothing wrong with England being an independent country, Scotland being an independent country, Wales being an independent country. Nothing wrong with it whatsoever. I think we can be friendly neighbours. I think we, and by the way, I said this at the time of the referendum, and I think we'll be proven correct for what's happened. Because I don't know if any of you remember, but in the course of the referendum, I used to take forward the argument about we were abandoning our brothers and sisters in England and Wales. People used to say, oh, you're abandoning, you're going for independence, you're abandoning the brothers and sisters in England and Wales. And I used to say, no, we're not abandoning you. We're leading you. We're leading you because we're going to show an example. We're going to do in Scotland what you can do in England as well. By the way, we lost the referendum, but we then used the energy, we used the education, we used the political awakening of the referendum, and we united behind an anti-austerity, an anti-trident, and a pro-independence party, and we wiped out the red. why the hell is Jeremy Corbyn win the Labour leadership with so much enthusiasm, hundreds of thousands of people joining the Labour Party in England? Because we showed by example that a political party, we can have arguments about whether or not the SNP stuck to the word yet in terms of being anti-austerity. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in places in Dundee, for instance. I'm disappointed when I read Glasgow, I read Edinburgh, I read North Lanarkshire councils are all about to pass cuts budgets. I'm disappointed because I've got to say to brothers and sisters, anti-austerity to me means we don't pass on cuts. We have to say loud and clear, show me a single pension. Show me a single lollipop man or woman. Show me a single firefighter. Show me a single nurse. Show me a single local authority worker that is to blame for the economic crisis, and you won't be able to show me it. So if they're not to blame, why the hell are they the victims of austerity? This mandate. Please turn the anti-austerity mandate from compliance with austerity cuts to defiance of austerity cuts. We need the local authorities in Scotland to set budgets based on the needs of the people, not on the needs of the bankers and the politicians in Westminster. We need the Holyrood Parliament to be delivering a budget based on what the local authorities require, not what they say that we can afford to spend. And of course there's going to be a gap. Of course there's going to be a deficit. That's what we fight over. That's what we fight Westminster over. We have to show that supporting independence isn't just about putting up the mere cuts, but it's all right because it wasn't the Tories who done it. Cuts are cuts. You lose your job, brothers and sisters, doesn't matter whether it's a Labour council or an SNP council, you've lost your job. That's the message I think we have to get across within the independence movement, that we need much more defiance now that the mandate has been delivered. Now, I believe, and I think it can be backed up psychologically if you look at the opinion polls that have been conducted since the referendum of last year. 24 opinion polls. So many opinion polls have been conducted since the referendum. Can I tell you, every single one has shown more people supporting independence than the 45%. The most recent 3 opinion polls have shown we're now around 53-54% in the polls. Now, there is an argument within the independence movement. Should we go quick and push for another referendum? Or should we wait? Some people say, let's wait till the polls are saying 60%. That's one of the sort of common things that I've read. I've got 2 things to say. Number one, there's no guarantees in life when it comes to politics about victory. There's no guarantee. People say, oh, we need to wait till we're guaranteed we're going to win. Brothers and sisters, hey, you go into a boxing ring, you might be the best fighter, they guarantee you're going to win. One guarantee you go in life is if you don't go into the boxing ring, you can't win. You need to be prepared to fight for what you believe in. But do you know what? There's a bigger consideration. See those who are saying, wait till it's sure, wait till it's certain. I've got to sometimes question, have they got a secure job? Have they got a nice house? They've got a decent income? Because do you know what? I think we in the independence movement have to speak up for those that don't have any of that. We've got to speak up for the dispossessed. We've got to speak up for the voiceless. We've got to speak up for the low paid. We've got to speak up for the wages that are getting thrown into poverty as a result of these tax credit cuts, the welfare cuts. We've got to speak up for those that are getting sanctioned on benefits, who are too ill to work, but are getting driven into early graves because of the pressure and the stress that's been pounced upon them by the DWP run by Ian W. Smith. We've got to speak up for the people that are housing waiting lists, living in overcrowded conditions. We've got to speak up for the people that are on 0 hours contracts. We've got to speak up for the people that are one paycheck away from debt. Those that are financially secure, they might think, oh, let's just wait. Do you know what? I'm going to just let's wait. I think we need a roadmap. I think we need a strategy. As far as I'm concerned, we've got elections next year. We've got elections in Scotland next year. Well, you know what? Let's ask every pro-independence party to put into their manifestos that a vote for them is a vote for a second referendum. Every party that believes in independence, put into your manifesto that a vote for you is a vote for independence. Now here is something I'm going to say, which as a socialist, as a solidarity convener, doesn't always go down well everywhere. But I've got to say to you, as an independence campaigner and a socialist, I look at that election next year and I understand that we have two votes. The first vote is for your constituency representative. Brothers and sisters, unless you can tell me the night that there's going to be a socialist party that's going to fight on an anti-austerity programme and a pro-independence commitment and is going to stand first past the post in all of the 72 seats in Scotland, unless you can tell me that, and I've looked, it's not there. And because it's not there, as a socialist, as an independence campaigner, I believe it is right to call for everyone to vote SNP with your constituency vote. Maximise the independence vote. Maximise the anti-austerity, anti-climate message. Deliver a majority independence government via the first vote. The second vote, I would appeal to you, if you're interested in the facts, go and look at the details of the voting system that we've got in Scotland. The hunt voting system that we have in Scotland. It's very clear, brothers and sisters, it was set up by the Scottish Constitutional Convention and it had one aim in mind, to stop majority governments. That's why it was designed. It's a mixture, it's a hybrid electoral system of first past the post and proportional representation. And the way it works is, if you win lots of seats first past the post, then you don't win lots of seats in the list system. That's the way it works. Quick example. Take Glasgow as an example. 9 constituencies. SNP, I hope, win all 9 constituencies. Every constituency seat you win, you add 1 here, and that then gets put into your list vote. That undermines your list vote. So, SNP get 200,000 first past the post votes, win all 9 seats. They also get 200,000 list votes. They don't get 200,000. People think, oh, they get 200,000. No, you don't. 9 plus 1 is 10. See that 200,000 SNP votes, you know what it becomes? 20,000. That's what it becomes, 20,000. That's why the unionist parties will be over the moon if all the independence family votes twice for the SNP, because then their margin of getting elected to the Scottish Parliament is going to be much lower. Lauren Eady is getting more than 20,000 and they're elected. the reality. If the SNP get both votes from the independence family, the second vote isn't just a wasted vote, it'll actually help the unionists in the heart. I am not here tonight to argue that you vote for one particular party. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to argue that you vote for a pro-independence anti-austerity party with your second vote. You decide what one it is. But the reality is you electorally have the power in your hands to turn the opposition in Hollywood from being the right wing to being the left wing. Come on. That's the reality. You see, I think it's important that we not only have a pro-independence Hollywood, but that we have people in that pro-independence Hollywood who are demanding a second referendum that would remind the SNP of the mandate that they've been elected on. And when the likes of Fergus Ewan, Minister for Energy and the like, goes on the TV in response to Jeremy Corbyn saying that he wants to take electricity and gas back into public ownership, and Fergus Ewan calls it a daft idea, I want to say to Fergus Ewan, hey Fergus, that's not what the people of Scotland believe. They don't believe we should be getting ripped off, paying exorbitant electricity and gas prices to private owners. Don't you dare say that you're speaking to the people of Scotland and saying they don't want to return gas and electricity to public ownership, because every single opinion poll that's been conducted shows that over about 50% of Scots want the return of these utilities to public ownership as well as the railways. That's why I would appeal, brothers and sisters. Hey, there are some within the SNP who would love the opposition to be the same old Tories, red, blue and yellow. That's the opposition they want, because that's the easiest ones to deal with. But see if they've got an opposition in there that's coming from the grassroots, that's coming from the left, that's coming from the movement. That's a wee bit harder to deal with. I think in independent Scotland, for instance, here's an idea. And yes, sure, it's a political idea, but